Doing fractions, decimals, and percents. Percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. 90%, okay, we would write that as either 90 out of 100, or we can write it as a fraction, 90 over 100. So when I give you grades, let's say you got 90% right, that means you got 9 out of 10 right. Okay? If you got 95 out of 100, that means you got 95 out of the 100 points. We'll write this down. Write each percent as a fraction. So remember, 60%, that's just 60 over 100. Which I can divide both sides by 10 and make that 6 over 10. Which I can take 2 out of each and get 3/5. So 60% is 3/5. 12.5%. What I want to do first is make this an improper fraction, okay, because it'll be easier to use. 12 times 2 is 24, plus 1 is 25 over 2. Now, remember this is out of 100, so I would divide it by 100. But since it's already a fraction, what I'm going to do is just times it by 1/100ths, or 1 over 100. Because is that the same thing as this? Is that the same thing? Yes, it is, right? Dividing by 100 is the same thing as timesing by 1 over 100. So, then I multiply, or I could reduce, can't I? I can take 25 out of 25 and get 1. I can take 25 out of 100 and get what? 4. So I get 1 over 8. Because 2 times 4 is 8. So 12.5% is what as a fraction? 1/8. Alright, write these down. 20.75%, 0.8%, and 175%. So 20.75%. I'm going to write that as an improper fraction. So 20 times 4 is 80. 80 plus 3 is 83. So 20.75 is 83 over 4. I'm going to times that by 100. Or, excuse me, I'm at 1 over 100. I can't reduce anything, so I take 83 times 1, which is 83. And 4 times 100, which is 400. That is my answer. 0.8%. Okay. We can write it just like this, 0.8 out of 100. But can we have a decimal in a fraction? No. So what I do is I need to move this decimal over. Does anyone tell me how mathematically we do that? But how, like, what are we doing? What are we timesing it by? 110, right? I times something by 10, I move the decimal point. So I times this by 10, so I'm going to times 100 by 10. So 0.8 times 10 is 8. 100 times 10 is 1,000. Is that my answer?
No.
No, it reduces, right? What can we take out of it? I want 4 out of it. So let's go 2 over, what would be 4? How many times is 4 going to 1,000? 250, right? A fourth of it. Can I reduce that? To what? 1 and 125. 175%. Yes, Paul. 1 and what?
25.
Not 25. It's okay, and it's not 100. It's 100. Wait, hold on. What, Paul?
On 1 and 25.
1 over 125.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about 175%. 175%. We write 175 over 100. Can I make that a mixed number? How many times is 100 going to 175? 1 with how much left over? Okay, 75 or 100 left. Okay, as Mackenzie said, we can reduce that to 3/4. So 175% is what as a fraction? 1 3/4. These are the rules when writing a percent as a decimal. Okay, we wrote percents as fractions, now we're going to write percents as decimals. The first thing you do is divide by 100. Okay, dividing by 100 just moves 2 decimal places to the left. Okay, and then you remove the percent sign. To write a decimal as a percent, you multiply by 100. All that does is move your decimal place 2 places to the right. Okay, just like we're multiplying by 10, we moved it how many places? 1. Okay, so 100, you move it 2. How many times would you move the decimal place if you multiplied by 1,000? 3. Okay, what about 10,000? 4. Right? Base it on how many zeros there are. Okay? Everyone got that? Alright, so write these down. So we have 16%. Our rule said going from a percent to a decimal, we divide by 100, right? Okay. Dividing by 100, all it does is move the decimal 2 places. So if I start at 16, I move it 2 decimal places to the left. That leaves me with 0.16 because I dropped the decimal or the percent sign. So 16% has 0.16. 9%. I move the decimal place 2 places. 1, 2. So 9% is equal to 0.09. Emery, you writing this down?
Is that the answer?
2%, we move it 2 places. That means at 0.02. 0.7%. Okay, remember, we're dividing by 100, so we move it 2 places. 1, 2. That means we got to add 2 zeros to the front of this. So 0.7% is 0.007. Excuse me. 537%. Move it 2 places. 5.37. Any questions on how to do that? Write each decimal as a percent. So now we're going from decimal to percents. We're going the other direction. When doing that, we multiply by 100. 0.2, I'm writing as a percent, so I move the decimal 2 places. So I'm going to add 0. So 0.2 is 20%. 3.84, we move it 2 places to the right. So 3.84 is 384%. No, that's a percent sign. And 0.05, move it 2 places. So 0.05 is 0.5%. Any questions on how to do that? Pretty simple. Now we're going to express the fraction as a percent. 5/8. You guys remember how to make fractions in the decimals? You should. It's pretty easy. Okay. Fractions are what kind of math problems? Division. So all I do is take 5 divided by 8.
Are you asking me?
No. Telling you. You take 5 divided by 8.
Oh, I thought you were like...
Which you get 0.625. But is 0.625 a percent or a decimal? It's a decimal, so I need to move it 2 places to the right. Okay, timesing by 100. So it's 62.5%. Alright, So 7 over 9. What am I going to do? Divide what?
9 by 7.
Well, 7 by 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you remember, anything written over 9 is what? What? It's a repeating decimal. 0.77777, right? So he times it by 100. We move it 2 decimal places. So 0.7777, we can write it as 7.8%. 27 over 13. So what am I going to do? Someone raise your hand and tell me. Mackenzie? Yep. Divide 27 by 13, which you get 2.077. Do what? Yeah, but I went 3 decimal places because I'm going to move this 2 decimal. Okay. Because I'm going to move this 2, I'm times it by 100, so I'm going to make it 207 point. Well, it'll be 7, sorry. 207.7%. That's why I didn't round right here at the first 7. Okay. So 27 over 13 is 207.7%. 3 over 400. I take 3 divided by 400, I get 0.0075. I move it 2 decimal places. 3 over 400 is 0.75%. Here's your homework.